Hi everyone. I'm just going to give a couple of minutes just to get to 11 AM start. Right, hello everybody. Jo Davies here from Exceed, HP BDM. Just wanted to say thank you for joining us today on our second HP PC update, our September 2019 update. For any of you who are unfamiliar with our webinar series, in the MyCloud webinar series, we use Microsoft Sway, and we will send this out afterwards, so you're able to watch live. You're also able to watch on demand, and you will get some material afterwards for you to refer to. Anything that is underlined within the Sway document that you receive is actually a link, so you can drill down further to get information. And any images throughout the document can be clicked on to enlarge to get some more information. Obviously, the team, just to introduce the team again, is myself, Christine Tan and Jason Cox, the HP product team here at Exceed. Jason will be online today to answer any questions via your messenger box window in the meeting, in the Teams window. So Christine's sitting here with me, so if anything comes up, she'll be able to help with any questions around accessories. We don't have live Q&A, but please, as I said, use the message window to share the information. Today we're going to be looking at the HP Commercial Desktop update, very similar to our previous one where we looked at all the notebook releases. Today we're going to be looking at the HP Commercial Desktop portfolio, just looking at some of those releases. Also just a quick revisit of our recycling initiative. Well, so starting with the portfolio, today we are going to actually focus on the 400, 600, 800 series. As you can see there, it is a lot broader portfolio, but we won't have time to go into that today. If you have any questions around workstations, HP Slice collaboration, or around health, we certainly can give you some more information on that. And we will be looking at doing a session on workstations, a dedicated session on workstations as well. So as the overview, as you can see, we've got the 400, 600 and 800 series. You'll also see a bit later on we've got the 705, the AMD series, so we'll talk a little bit about that. So what's new across the portfolio? So we've got, obviously we mentioned the AMD series and the 705, and that's the new mini and small form factor. And you can click on the Exceed Online link there to see what SKUs we already have available in those. We've got the introduction of Wi-Fi 6. Again, some more information there. You can have a look at what's happening in that area as far as what our customers are doing around Wi-Fi. And also a little bit around the naming conventions, because we're talking about Wi-Fi 6 and we've actually got Wi-Fi 5 and 4, so they're actually changing the naming conventions, which hopefully should make it a bit easier. There's a new USB-C port, which is actually to support a mini-in-one display. Now, you may have seen a little bit of information of that. I am going to go into that later on in today's session. The health all-in-ones are now available in touch. We've got SureSense across the whole series. So I think we mentioned that last time as well, but SureSense is actually an artificial intelligence-based malware detection system, which actually looks at the behavior of, so rather than, recognizing known malware, it actually will recognize potential threats based on the behavior, and obviously is learning all the time, being artificial intelligence with machine learning. And another new introduction is the HP SureView, which you guys will all be familiar with SureView from our notebooks, and also being introduced into the monitors recently. That's now actually available on the 800 series all-in-one as well. So that's a great option for places like medical receptions, legal receptions, anywhere where you've got some private data that you would like to keep from prying eyes, from shoulder surfing, or visual hacking as it's known. Also got a little bit here around the discontinuing items in the portfolio, bearing in mind that all of these do have a transition option. So you can see there that you've got the 400 transitioning out into the 23.8. Your 600 is actually being discontinued completely in New Zealand for this generation. Obviously, you'll be able to find suitable alternatives within the 400 or 800 series for that. The 800 all-in-one non-touch version is not going to be going ahead, but obviously you've got the 800, and due to demand, that's going to be the more popular SKU. And the ProDesk 600 tower is also transitioning, so now you would go to the 800 tower. We have a load of information available here in this way that I'll be sending you. We're not going to be looking at it all, but basically I want to sort of help you navigate that and give you the main points around two things. One's going to be around going from generation to generation. So I've got a whole lot of comparisons of how you can compare the G4 to the new G5 releases. And also we'll have the step-ups, which for those of you who joined last time, they are some cheat sheets, I guess you could call them, where show you how you can recognise where you might step up from the 400 to the 600, 100 to 800. And this is one of the most common questions we get is, you know, why would I position that over that? So this is going to help you with answering some of those questions and meeting your customer requirements. So having a look at, we'll start with the 400. And as you can see there, obviously we introduced the 9th generation processors, got an increase in the maximum RAM available, so you can go up to 64 gig. Seen some changes around the versions of security applications available on the series. And again, I've got links throughout this to learn more about those security features within the HP portfolio. And those are just generation changes, and of course the introduction of SureSense. So that just gives you an overview of your G4 versus your G5. And a little on all of the series, and so we won't be going into each one, but we'll have a look at it for the 400 just to give you an idea and help you navigate when you get the document. I've provided some information on some of the key accessories that you might look at adding to add some value for your customers. Either myself or Christine can help you. We've got Christine Tam with us who's looking after HP Attach, and she can help you with all those services, value-add services and accessories that you might want to add to your customer opportunities. We'll also, for each one of these, have a walkthrough. So for those of you who like to look in detail at what's what on the device and you like the visuals, these are really, really good at a glance images that you can look at and see what ports you've got available. One thing I will just sort of talk briefly about on the port side of things is the configurable I/O port. So on the minis, they all have a configurable I/O port here, and you can, if you're doing a CTO, you can choose any of these options. Now, I mentioned CTO, most of you know what that is, but I do actually from time to time use the terminology and someone says, what on earth are you talking about? So we have two types of SKUs. We've got our BTO SKUs, and those are the SKUs that we get in New Zealand, and they're predetermined by HP New Zealand to fit most of our customers' needs. And then from time to time, obviously, there might be someone needs some additional RAM or a larger hard drive, or they want to mix and match a bit. They might even want to, oh, sorry, beg your pardon, might even want to take some cost out by reducing some of the things. So this is where you would do what they call a configure to order. So configure to order, we build to meet specific requirements, and that's where you might look at adding this port. In our standard SKUs, when you see the number of ports available, that includes whatever has been put in here by default. Generally, on your desktop mini and small form factor, it's going to be either a display port or a HDMI on the standard builds that we do here in New Zealand. So yes, yeah, so it's a little bit around that. So moving on, you're going to have the same information. A lot of these are identical as far as the uplifts in the new series. So please, when you receive this, have a little nosy through and see some of those changes. And again, as I've said, you've got your accessories and your walkthroughs for each. So if you have a look there, your small form factor, you can see what ports are available on the small form factor. and then the same for your all-in-one. So that's across the 400 series. As I said, please, we'll be sending this through on extract on Thursday, so you will be able to get this supporting sway, and you'll be able to keep that and basically refer to it anytime you want, and look at some of those cheat sheets. So looking at moving from the 400 to the 600. So the 600 series launched in August, and the G5 launch with the G4 going EOL in October this year. And as we noted earlier, the Pro 1600 is not continuing, but you've got the 23.8 touch and non-touch options available in your Pro 400 series. So I'm not expected to remember all this, but when you get this, you will have those quick reference guides. So looking at going from your 400 to your 600 series, you're looking USB standard. So on the 400, that's only optional. You have to do it via your flexible I/O port. You've got dual storage options and RAID options. Obviously the chipset. You've got optional vPro upgrades. So that's optional on the 600. It's standard on the 800. Optional on 600 and not available on the 400. HP Sure Start is standard. So that is the malware protection that's rooted in the hardware and protects your BIOS. So that's before you even get to your operating system or your network protection that you've got, your antivirus, that's protecting you at a BIOS level. Around the global services and support, you've got the fact that it's a global series, so it's available for those of you who do have global customers. You can get these both in New Zealand and globally. And then, of course, your 18-month life cycle. So we talk about life cycle. That's not how long the product's going to last. It's just how long between new generations. So that's basically giving your customers who are managing deployments, managing standard imaging and just standard devices throughout their organisation. This gives them a longer period to manage those images. So, beg your pardon, I'm just having a little technical difficulty there. Apologies. There we go, I've got it back. So, as I said, you then got the same information for your small form factor, and a lot of those are going to be the same throughout. Before we look at the going from the 600 to the 800 series. So, obviously, the 800 we moved from the Pro Desk series into the Elite Desktop series. There's you going from the G5 Desktop Mini to the Elite Desk 800 G5 Desktop Mini. Obviously, you've got different power options. You've got Wi-Fi 6 as standard on the 800s, on our BTOs that we mentioned earlier, so on the New Zealand SKUs. You have to CTO for the 600 and the 400. You've got optional fibre NIC. You've got the 800, I beg your pardon. You've got the option of the Optane memory, which is on the 512 drive. Now that's only available on an 800 BTO SKU. Moving into your security and manageability, you've obviously got your repro standard we mentioned before. That's optional on the 600, but it's actually standard on your 800. And you've got Sure Recover and Sure Run. So Sure Recover is basically being able to recover your image. And Sure Run is actually a option whereby you can nominate particular applications that are critical, so things like your antivirus, and if those are seen to be threatened and it's stopped, they basically will automatically restart, and a message will be sent to your IT manager, whoever your nominated person is on that, to tell them that there has been an attempt to shut that down. Obviously, hackers are looking for a way in, and if they can shut down your antivirus, fantastic. This is just another layered level of protection. So a lot of the stuff on security that's available on the HP range is intended to complement what you already have in your network and your infrastructure. It's not designed to replace it all. It's just as I said, just that layered approach to security and I guess protecting the endpoint devices themselves. So that's on your 800. And again, we've got the same information going through. So please, when you get this, have a look through and you can sort of have a product walkthroughs and model to model. The little bit of difference on the all-in-ones, obviously, because now we don't have the 600 series anymore. We are just looking at your 400 versus your 800. So it's a big leap there, right from the 4 to the 800 series. So have a look through there and see some of the features that differentiate those two. Particularly if you've got customers that are on the 400, this will help you identify what to move. Sorry, on the 600, this will help you identify which one to move them to. Sorry, looks like oh, there we are. Now, I mentioned earlier around a USB-C port available on the new series of Desktop Mini. And that was around supporting the new HP Mini in One display. Now, this is not actually released yet, so it's a little bit of a sneak peek here. They're not yet, we haven't yet got the SKUs available, but just to give you an idea of what's coming. So this will only be supported by the most recent generation of Desktop Mini. So those have those USB ports. So if you have any questions, you can just ask myself or Christine, and we can help you identify which models will be supported. But as you can see here in the web picture, it basically the monitor has a dedicated slot which will take the HP Mini. And as we move through, and this is just, I mean, obviously this offers a really clean, tidy, clutter-free option, similar to your all-in-one. But with the options of being able to swap out. So obviously, if you want to go to a new generation of minis down the track, you can hang on to your existing Mini in One display and swap out the Mini inside it. So let's have a look here. These are quite cool because you can see here how that slots into the side. You've got access to your ports on top. Look at around here, you've got your built-in privacy camera, you've got your integrated webcam, speakers and microphones for your collaboration. So it's pretty much got it all in one. It's got everything you need here, and that interchangeable Desktop Mini. So you can go from this version onwards, you can interchange the Mini within that thing. This is, I really like the screen. This because you can see there your accessible ports. Now the other thing here too is it's a single power switch. So you power on both your display and your Mini PC with one power button. So keep an eye for that. We'll give you some information once that's released and provide SKUs and pricing once that's available. So as I said, look, that's a very broad overview again, and that's what these are intended to do, these sessions. I'm not intending to go deep into everything, but I hope that to provide you with information so that you can refer to it later and kind of think of them as cheat sheets and things that you can refer to at a glance and get more information as we transition to the new generations. I did want to just touch on recycling services, and I apologise to those who are not in Auckland because at the moment this is only available in Auckland, but you know, all going well, we hope that it might be available in other areas in the future. So this is whereby HP and Exceed have got together and put together a recycling service where if of the packaging that you get, so kind of nothing worse, you've got a customer and you deliver everything and then they do a wonderful rollout and then they suddenly realise they've got a pile of junk sitting there, a pile of like empty boxes and packaging and polystyrene they don't know what to do with. So this is a really good option to get that collected. Obviously it ticks the environmental boxes for them. The polystyrene is basically repurposed. I'm not quite sure how they do it, but they do. It's repurposed and used in the offshore in the making of picture frames. And obviously that's a win-win. I guess you get rid of the rubbish, plus you're actually recycling some of that excess waste. It's calculated on per cubic meter. So as you see, its first cubic meter is $100 and then 20 thereafter. However, if you've got an HP monitor in the mix of your order, we will actually pick up the whole order, regardless of the rest, what the rest of the equipment is, as long as it's ordered from Exceed and its current order, we will pick up the rest of the the packaging for a flat fee of $25. And just on that, while we're talking about recycling and the polystyrene, just to note that new Mini-in-One display, as with other new HP displays, will actually be coming with the fibre-based packaging, so the recyclable, so like a compressed cardboard packaging. So as the new models come out, they will be using that. So that's a really good initiative from HP to use those recycled products. So just having a look through, we've got our contacts and resources. Obviously myself, Christine, who's joined me today, and obviously we've got our sales team, who most of you will be well familiar with. Jason Cox, our product manager based in Wellington. HP Sales Central app, I think Christine mentioned last month that this is now available on your cell phone, and it's become a bit of a obsession for me. There is some really cool stuff in there. Obviously great to use if you're out in your customer and you can just refer to something right there and then, and really makes yourself look very good. But also there's some really cool stuff in there. There's some podcasts, and those give you some advice on attach, upsell, also just some really good tips on how to navigate HP Central, Sales Central itself. So please, if you can, download that either it's available on your Apple or on Android. So please download that app and put it on your phone. It's super handy, and you'll find you use it a lot. As always, we've got our showroom here in Auckland, and you're welcome to book that, or we can arrange to book Carlin DeProse from HP if you would like to have him visit you and your customers. Just sing out. So I've put all those links there, all the contacts. So please do contact us if you have any questions. This month I've included the security training again as a recommended training. I really do recommend that you get in there and have a nosy. The security training, it's a module based. You've got everything from just self-paced introductory type, multi-choice, really easy modules that you can just do at your desk, or right through to certification. So please do have a look. More and more this is becoming a key topic of conversation. It has been for some time now. This covers both the HP PC, and there's a little bit around print in there as well, because obviously a lot of those features are throughout the HP print range too. So please click on those links and have a look at HP University. If any of you have any issues with getting into Exceed Online or HP University, please contact myself or Christine, and we can make sure that we set you up. So I just want to say thank you. I know I talk quickly and I sort of rabbited on, so thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, we're happy to set up individual sessions, either via Teams or in person for those of you who are local, or when we're travelling in your area. If you've got any questions, please use the question window with Jason, or just email either of us afterwards. Our emails are available in this document. So yeah, thanks again.